you can see that the AI bots are winning, you're losing. Humanity is doomed.
In a recent interview, Michael Saylor shares his insights on the looming US banking crisis and why very soon fiat money will all be owned by the state. As devaluation continues, he predicts that Bitcoin will have a profound impact on the monetary system. Saylor believes that the surge before the Bitcoin halving will no doubt surpass 10 times its current value. Hence, it is crucial to properly capture and clean out the crypto ecosystem before the entire banking industry is revolutionized. Here is the remaining part of the interview with Michael Saylor as he gives his prediction for Bitcoin and the crypto market in the last quarter of 2023.
If you have $1 million of property in the state and you live in it, you pay $20,000 a year, and then they reassess the property up if you're not a citizen, which means that over the course of about 25 years, you have to have $1 million to pay taxes on $1 million of property you own. If you started with $1 million, you have nothing, you see, after 25 years. The old axiom in America is they lost the family farm because they couldn't afford the taxes on it. When I was growing up, people told us a story, we just nodded our heads and we just kind of accepted that as a given. Well, of course, and the establishment would like you to believe that there's something morally wanting about the grandchildren that couldn't afford to pay the tax on the family farm. They must be lazy, or they must be less virtuous than their grandparents that could afford to buy the farm. But if you think about it, you're like, why is it that your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren will be poor and they'll lose everything that you worked your entire life to get just because of the passage of time? Oh, but over the course of 100 years, the way the political system is constructed, all of the money that you work for will be transferred from your family to the state, either by inheritance taxes, property taxes, or inflation, one way or the other. And that's been normalized somehow. But if you think about what happens when you go from visible stationary property, which invites looting, to invisible mobile property. Bitcoin is invisible mobile property. Nobody knows you have it. And if you made it in one city, you can move it to a different city, a different state, a different country. Right? And so there's something fundamentally different here. When an ambitious person, a politically powerful, ambitious person meets someone with a lot of money that can't run, their reaction is, let's tax them and take it because it's unfair that they have it and I don't. And sometimes they just want it, and sometimes they go, it's unfair that this wealthy person has it and there's someone that isn't wealthy like them, so I'm going to tax it as a public service and I'm going to redistribute it from the person that has it to the person that doesn't have it. And of course, I'll give myself a cut in the middle. That is the status quo since the beginning of time. But of course, when an ambitious, powerful person encounters someone that has a bunch of wealth that's invisible, that's mobile, instead of viewing them with contempt, they're viewed with respect. And if you want an example in the real world where you can see this put to the test, look at the policies of Singapore and the UAE and compare them to the policies in certain states in the United States or certain parts of the US and then Western Europe. And of course, what you'll see is in Singapore and the UAE, they have zero income tax, very low tax rates, and they welcome foreigners. Because if they had massive taxes, no one would take their billions of dollars of property to Singapore, would they? They don't need to. They're trying to attract liquid capital by being civil and cooperative. Whereas you go to, states like New York, California, where they think that people sort of just have to stay there, the tax rates just keep going up and keep going up and keep going up. Same in lots of parts of Western Europe. And the more comfortable the politicians are that you can't leave, the higher the tax rate goes. So Bitcoin represents a lot of things, and one thing it represents is the separation of money and state. And a lot of people, they like it because they think, well, if the money is separated from the state can't print infinite money to fight endless wars. That's true. Another thing it represents is the separation of property from earth. And I think it's even a bigger, deeper concept, right? And the idea of separating property from earth is, if your property isn't stationary to a given physical jurisdiction, then you don't have to negotiate with the mayor, the governor, the president, and every regulator in the regime in order to just keep from losing your stuff every day of your life. They understand inherently now the danger of organizations getting too big and too powerful, because ultimately that organization that controls how 1 billion people think is run by one person with 4 people advising them at the top. And so is it really wise for 4 people or one person to decide what 1 billion people can think and say and do, or whether or not they should smile or what they should wear? It's always corruption, always monopoly, always taxation. There is no end to it. There never has been an end to it. There never will be an end to it as long as we are physical creatures and we live in the physical domain. So what is the appeal of Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is the digital transformation of property, the digital transformation of money, leading to the digital transformation of energy and matter, and then eventually the digital transformation of identity. And so I think the entire crypto movement is a backlash against that. Last I checked, there are north of 400 million people that have some crypto involvement, that have embraced it. Hundreds of millions of Bitcoin holders.
Saylor's contention is that the global demand for a stable digital currency is growing as countries are facing currency instability. Therefore, he believes that Bitcoin will thrive as a valuable asset because it's validated and supports an entire class of assets. Saylor also remains bullish on Bitcoin and shares the sentiment of many high-profile investors, saying that the crash of the US dollar will lead to a rally in Bitcoin the likes of which the world has never seen. So what are your thoughts on Michael Saylor's insights on the emergence of Bitcoin and its impact on crypto investment strategies globally? Please feel free to leave a comment below to share your thoughts. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next one.